I'm at conferences across the country and sometimes in some other part of the world, and someone comes up to me with a story about how this program saved their lives, or even right here tonight in this place, I had someone come up to me and tell me how this program saved her life. These are the small things that we can do to move the needle, but they need to be culturally tailored. They need to be developed with the community, and they need to have feeling and meaning and purpose infused in them, as if you're writing or delivering or preparing something for your mother or for your spouse. It's that deep.
Who would have thought that a company with a pharmaceutical company with a 150-year legacy in medical innovation would partner or would become partners with a cultural icon that has had such influence in so many communities across the country and across the world. And so even though it seems like an unlikely marriage or an unlikely partnership, there was significant harmony, I think, that developed as a result, where Bayer could bring our scientific voice and presence to your cultural influence, and really have that help us communicate and connect with the communities that need it most. And when it comes to stroke prevention, we really do have an opportunity to prevent stroke. We have an opportunity to educate around that, particularly communities that are at higher risk, so the Black community and specifically Black women. And it's through this partnership that we can continue to do this work.
For me personally, it was having community, finding a community that could understand everything that I was going through, because it's hard. It's not easy. I know you said earlier, mood changes, and sometimes I don't know if that's just me or if I'm actually having mood changes, but just having a community and people who actually love you, having doctors and practitioners who are with you on the journey, because it is a difficult journey. And for me, I was in denial for a long time, and I was fighting against the person who I am now and who I used to be. And so I had to allow myself to grieve that person who was no longer here anymore, because I was no longer the same mother. I was no longer the same friend. I was no longer the same wife. And so we have to be aware of those things. And so I think now a lot of people are more transparent to what's going on. And so the more transparent you are, the easier it is for you to get through recovery.
You had to have teams in the hospital of stroke doctors, ED doctors, radiology techs, pharmacists, nurses, who all are working in a coordinated team manner to orchestrate the evaluation and the rapid treatment. And that was a sea change. And what it took, though, was advocacy from the stroke professional community, but also the community at large, because hospitals didn't really have an incentive to put in the money to do it. And the advocates pushed and pushed, and that's how programs like Get With the Guidelines from the American Heart Association, the push to get the Joint Commission, which regulates hospitals, to give a special accreditation if you're a stroke-ready hospital. And then that was an incentive for hospitals to put in the resources to put these stroke teams in place. That was massive. And I think the other big change is you needed people to recognize a stroke and know to call 911 and come in quickly. And so the campaigns such as Hip Hop Stroke and others.
And I just use that stroke as my positivity, as my motivation to move forward. Like, it didn't break me, it made me stronger. I'm stronger now, and I've called myself a super survivor, so I'm a superhero. And so now just advocating as I speak and try to get the word out. I knew I was having a stroke when I couldn't feel my arm. I said, your arm or my arm? I said, your arm, you're scaring me. I think I'm having a stroke. It's in the back of my mind, you know what I mean? Like, I remember from one of my neighbors had a stroke when I was a kid. The song in 2005, like, I remember stroke. So I remember a whole bunch of things, and just in the back of my mind, I think I'm having a stroke. So that advocacy, that getting people to know the signs and stuff.
And so on November 22nd of 2021, I founded an organization called A Stroke of Grace. A Stroke of Grace is an organization with our mission. Our mission is twofold. Our mission is to support Black stroke survivors and also to provide stroke prevention education in Black communities. We are the only organization, the only nonprofit organization in the U.S. with a mission to support Black stroke survivors. Why is that important? Because I want to help affect change in the communities of persons who look like me, because that's how I grew up. I grew up in a Black community. And because I know that strokes are 80% preventable, but then you can't prevent that stroke if you're not educated. So I made it my mission. A lot of persons say stroke recovery ends once you leave the hospital. And I want to say that it does not end once you leave the hospital. I would step out and say stroke recovery just begins when you leave the hospital.
Right? We were dealt something that we weren't expecting. We have created new lives from it. So I honestly take my inspiration from the people that I have been able to meet on this journey. My original blog was called A Stroke of Luck, not because I felt lucky to have had it. I do, in a way, because I felt like, if I'd had it younger or older, I wouldn't have had the resilience and the strength to keep going and fighting, because recovery is every day. You just, you fight every day. So I really, from the community, is where I find my motivation and my inspiration.